Chapter 2. Lucas the Brave. Lucas dashed over a bridge and down into the village. Chickens squawked and scattered to get out of his way. The villagers bowed and tipped their heads as he rode by. Clang, clang. The school bell rang down the lane. Lucas slapped the reins and hurried toward the sound of the bell. As he drew near, he leapt over a stone wall and came to a rest. He hopped from the saddle and quickly changed into his clothes. Lucas tucked his curly red hair inside the felt hat. Then he grabbed a handful of dirt and smudged it on his cheeks. He tied even to a low tree branch and hung sack with his princely clothes from the saddle. Well, Ethan, he said, here goes. Lucas climbed over the stone wall and stood in front of the schoolhouse. A swirl of smoke curled from the chimney. Lucas took a deep breath. Today I am Lucas the Brave, he said to himself. Then he marched up to the schoolhouse and slowly pulled open the doors. Creak. The children sat in front of the teachers and benches. Everyone turned to stare at Lucas. A girl with thin braids crowded her brown hair, gasped and cupped her hand over her mouth. Good morning, boy, the teacher said. Are you here to join us? Yes, said Lucas. I'm new in town. Please have a seat. She said, I'm Mistress Carson. What's your name? My name is Flynn. Flip the prince as he sat down on a bench and at the back of the classroom. Welcome, Mistress Carson said. Class, please say good morning to Flynn. Good morning, Flynn, said the class. Now all eyes on me, said the teacher. We are going to work on subtraction. The children turned towards the teacher, except the girl with braid crown. It was Clara, Lucas's old friend from the palace. She looked at the prince and raised an eyebrow. The prince winked at her. She smiled and quickly looked away. Nobody seems to notice. Mistress Carson wrote some sums on a large slat at the front of the classroom. Now, who would like to solve a problem at the board? She asked. The prince's hand shot up. He loved to add and subtract. His father had taught him in math at home. Mistress Carson called Lucas up to the board. The children watched as the new boy walked to the front of the class. I'm going to have lots of friends, Lucas thought. Then he began to work on one of the problems. The room was quiet, except for the chalk, tapping on the board until boom, boom, boom. Someone began to pound on the doors of the school. The children jumped in their seats. Lucas froze. His heart began to thump. The teacher hurried to the back of the room and opened the doors. Two burly men burst in. Lucas dropped the chalk on the floor. Oh no, he thought. The palace guards. He wanted to run, but the doors were blocked. There he is, shouted one of the guards as he pointed at Lucas. That's the Prince of Wrenly. Mistress Carson and the children gasped. The underguard ran toward the prince, grabbed him by the arm, and led him towards the doors. Clara raved as Lucas walked by. Lucas hung his head. Now I'll never have any friends, he thought.